Conducting a Wi-Fi survey is more than just tapping on the screen. Knowing a few of the Wi-Fi site survey best practices will help ensure you're successful when using NetAlly's AirMapper. Let's take a look at a few things you can do to get the best survey data. Hello, this is Mike Panaki, and in this video we're going to go through some of the best practices when it comes to performing a Wi-Fi site survey. As with the recommendations we provided in a separate video regarding how to prepare for a site survey, the recommendations in this video can be considered a good place to start. As you get out there and complete a few surveys, you'll add some new items to your best practices list and possibly remove a few. The most important thing is that you find a process that works for you and yields the most accurate results for the sites you're surveying. Above all, safety is most important. When you're conducting a Wi-Fi site survey, you'll be looking down at the AirCheck G2 or the EtherScope nXG screen a lot. Whether you're in an empty building or a fully operational warehouse, it's important to be aware of your surroundings all the time. Be careful not to step into aisleways without looking both ways. Nothing ruins a day more than getting clipped by a forklift that cannot see you. Fully understand the safety requirements of the facility where you're conducting the site survey. You may be required to wear personal protective equipment such as safety glasses, ear protection, a hard hat, and a reflective vest. All of this equipment is for your protection. When it comes to measuring RF signals, it is important that the AirCheck G2 wireless tester or the EtherScope nXG portable network expert be positioned in about the same location as a phone, tablet, barcode reader, or any other device that will be using the Wi-Fi network. After all, you want to make sure you measure network performance from the same perspective as the client devices that will be using the network. Do not carry your tool down by your side or in a backpack. Doing so will not provide an accurate representation of how production devices will see the Wi-Fi network. In office spaces, go into conference rooms, offices, lobbies, and break rooms. As I've discussed in the preparation video, if you can't get into a room, you can survey it later and merge that survey with the previous one. Remember to be courteous and knock before entering closed offices and conference rooms. Another important thing to keep in mind is where to walk. While walking down a hallway, it's best to walk down the center. Meanwhile, when you enter a room, take measurements from around the edges of the room, not just down the center of the room. This will provide the most accurate information for the Wi-Fi performance in that room. Also, if you're in an area where there are cubicles, be sure to walk down each of the rows. This will allow you to take into account how each cubicle affects how the signal propagates. When performing a site survey in a warehouse, walk down the rows between the pallet racks and all the way around obstacles. This will help ensure that if there's any dead spots, you identify them. Besides knowing where to walk, you will also need to know where to best collect the data. For example, during the survey, you'll be tapping on the floor plan to indicate where you're physically at in the facility. The best practice for taking a measurement is to walk to the beginning location and tap Start. Then wait between 5 and 10 seconds before tapping the screen. Once you tap the screen, a red circle will appear. The diameter of the circle is based on the signal propagation you entered when configuring the survey. The diameter is twice the signal propagation value. The circle indicates that the Wi-Fi signal should be close to the same anywhere in the circle. If it is common for the facility to have spaces between obstructions smaller than your chosen signal propagation value, you may want to rethink your decision and opt for a smaller radius, meaning more samples, resulting in a more accurate survey. After a second or two, the circle will turn green. You can now move to the edge of that circle. Once you get there, wait 5 to 10 seconds and tap the screen again. When the circle turns green, move to the edge of the circle and repeat the process until you've completed the survey of the facility. Another thing to keep in mind while collecting data is that you should tap the screen each time you change direction. If you're about to walk down a row of cubicles, tap the screen before you turn to walk down the row. When you reach the end of the row, tap the screen again before you go back to where you came. Then tap the screen one more time when you turn to go to the next row of cubicles. This will provide a nice clean survey path on the heat map once you upload it to Link Live, and will help prove that the entire site was surveyed. These are just a few of the best practices to follow when conducting a Wi-Fi site survey. Safety is first, then focus on collecting accurate readings throughout the facility. The end goal is to collect as much data as possible, and thus have a floor plan full of overlapping circles with no gaps in between. In the next video, we're going to look at how to import a floor plan in AirMapper, calibrate dimensions, and perform the site survey. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and be sure to check out our other videos on using AirMapper to perform Wi-Fi site surveys.